Hi, welcome to Detours, Understanding Acquired Brain Injury. I'm on my way to the Brain Injury Conference day number 2, and so I plan on filming from that. But I do want to talk about something I encountered often while there, and that relates to medication, side effects, that kind of thing. And it occurs to me, I agree with the one saying that I often hear, which is, if you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury. That is very true. Although there are lots of similarities between people with brain injuries. We all do have certain, if you injure someone in a certain area of the brain, you will see common traits. And this applies to most other diseases too. In fact, I'd say all. If you've seen one example of that disorder, there are variabilities in it. Every heart attack will look different, and in the recovery phase, it will look different. But that's not what I'm bringing up. What I want to bring up is about medication. Allopathic medicine, or traditional scientifically based medicine, or evidence-based medicine, whatever you'd like to call it, rational medicine, there are all kinds of terms for it. They prescribe medication that is based on something that comes from nature and is synthesized in the laboratory using enzymatic chains, things like that, that's manufactured, but is based on either an animal or plant product and then synthesized to control quality, things like that. And then there's what we call complementary and alternative medicine, CAM, which is from the more non-Western or pre-scientific age. It's not to denigrate it. There's a lot of good that comes out of it. However, the thing is, when you or I as a survivor would say, don't do that, we are telling people not to take their meds, giving medical advice without actual training in that, just based on seeing videos or based even on our own experiences. It is important to remember that we are forgetting the very reason we're basing our own rejection of that medicine on in the first place. Well, two of them mainly. One is each brain injury is different. The person you're telling not to take it has a different brain injury than you do and a different chemistry than you do. So what didn't work for you may be a saving grace for somebody else. And so don't tell people not to take their meds. Please just say, it didn't work for me. Here's how it worked. All right. But telling people to stop their meds, not take their meds, may precipitate something very bad for them. All right. It even can be fatal. Not to mention, it can cause a return of symptoms and make their lives far worse. And the other reason is that, it's, as far as a complementary and alternative medications, they won't always work, or they may have side effects. Again, because you've seen one brain injury, you only know one, your own. For me, it's like, I know my own, but I've studied extensively the general medical effects and what happens with brain injuries. So I know the basics. And so I have to work as a partner with a patient who has them if I'm going to help them. But I also understand that they will know their symptoms. They'll know, what happened, stuff like that. I put that together with my knowledge of anatomy, physiology, chemistry, to try and find a solution. But it is important not to advise people to stop their meds. Never. That is incredibly dangerous. And so my advice is just share your experience. But please, please don't ever tell someone to never take it, not take it. You know you. And what works best for you is what works best for you. But please don't be telling others that your experience is universal and applies to everyone, because it doesn't. It works for you. And it is important too, when working with physicians and things like that, and nurse practitioners and nurses, let people know, this doesn't work for me, be forthright and honest, but also when working with other survivors, talking to other survivors, also be forthright and honest with what happened to me may not work for you, but it also might. And so that honesty, forthrightness, and the recognition that if you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury. And that means if I've seen one brain injury, I've seen one brain injury, my own, but I don't know yours. And that requires that courage I was talking about before, that courage to admit you don't know everything. I don't know everything. And even my professional background, I admit I don't even anywhere close to know everything. But I do know that it is dangerous to give advice for people to stop taking their meds or take this herbal remedy or use this new unresearched technology because I found it worked for me. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it'll work for them. And so, especially without having, experience beyond your own. I just wanted to put that forward as a kind of a PSA because I've seen and heard it so often, and it makes me very nervous because of the ramifications it has and the fact that people have different metabolisms. Okay, enough of my soapbox. You guys have a good day, and I'll be posting stuff from today's convention. Take care. Bye.